Well, look, the first thing is as the Bills prepare to play Cincinnati is I think the Bengals quickly got royally screwed in the way this thing's set up, given that they were going to put the Chiefs-Bills on a neutral site and will if it happens. Cincinnati was owed the same deal, I think.
Look, I agree with you that they did catch the worst luck of everybody here, but I think that there is a solid argument that can be made. You had one less loss than everybody did. Now, look, I do understand the frustration, but if you didn't lose opening day to Pittsburgh, if you didn't lose that Ravens game, this wouldn't be an argument. You did lose one more game here. Now, I would have wanted to see that game continued if what happened with Damar Hamlin didn't happen, but, I mean, like, what other choice?
That point being, if Cincinnati if that game had been played and they'd go on to win, they would have leapfrogged Buffalo into the second spot.
Absolutely.
And probably stayed there.
If that game had continued and Buffalo beat them, they would have been in the exact same spot they're on now, rock solid with another loss. I mean, you want to play the game in Baltimore your opening weekend, so let's not play what could have happened because it could have gone Baltimore.
That being the case, so I thought this was a 2.5-point game. I always pay attention to the lines.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised when it opened at 4, and then it went up.
Yeah.
So it's 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, it says that people are confident in Cincinnati to get this job done, right? And I get it, right? Like, if you're not someone who is dialed into football, you watch the first 3 drives of that Bills-Bengals game, and it looked like the Bengals couldn't be stopped without the ebbs and flows of things that was going on. I'm very confident in this game on Sunday. I don't know why. I mean, getting them at home is big. The Cincinnati Bengals will be missing, it looks like, 3 starting offensive linemen. That at home is a problem. That on the road with that Bills crowd, having to do silent calls and changing protections with Joe Burrow there, your game is chucking that ball around. And if you can't protect Joe Burrow, which they've shown at points this season they can't, it's a major problem.
I feel confident in Buffalo for the other reason. The other reason was that Miami game was way too close given the lineup that they had going into it. So I believe Buffalo hasn't played their best football as of yet. A little bit sloppy in that second half.
Let me just roll it in. Is that Cincinnati's in the same spot because they did the same thing against Baltimore.
Thank you.
But division opponents, so they kind of both, I think, psychologically come into it the same way.
But I think there's higher expectations. I think we're looking at this Buffalo Bills team, like Duffy just said, as a Super Bowl team. We're expecting Cincinnati to play well and aggressively, and they look great in that first game that they played on Monday night. But I don't think we're expecting them to go back to the Super Bowl back to back. So I don't think the expectations are that high. For this Buffalo team, it's a little bit different. And they played a little bit wild. So I would expect some of their best football on Sunday because that Miami game was that close. So I still believe the Bills will win. Cincinnati are a dangerous team. Don't keep this close.
Let me put it this way. The public perception of this game is much different than the Vegas perception of this game. Because if you turn on the TV, you have a lot of people saying that Cincinnati's going to walk in there, roll over Buffalo on their way to go play Kansas City. If you look at the sports books right now and the AFC Championship odds, the Chiefs are plus 120, the Bills are plus 140, 150, depending on where you're looking. The Bengals are plus 400. What does that tell you? That when you look at these 3 teams, that the ones who know, the sharps understand that it's a Chiefs-Bills AFC Championship matchup, and this Bengals team does not match up to what Buffalo has to offer.
I think Sean McDermott will have his team readily more prepared this week than he did last week. He takes a look at that film, and they are prepared to play football. This is going to be a big fight, but I think if it had been in Cincinnati, it would have been different. It's not. It's in Buffalo. You play where you play.
There is an interesting factor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off here. You've prepared for this team 3 weeks ago. Nothing has really changed since that moment, minus the fact that Damar Hamlin's not going to be in uniform. How do the first 3 series that were actually played affect now how these 2 teams are prepping for each other? Because, I mean, the Bills went out and watched the Bengals chuck all over them. And, in fact, the Bills...
It's like sending a team out there, taking a timeout because you've seen what their formation is.
Yes! I mean, we've never seen anything like this before. And the football nerd in me, now that Damar Hamlin is okay, thank God, is very interested to see how different Buffalo's approach is, if the offensive approach for Cincinnati is going to be any different. I can't wait to watch this.
You guys are on the same page.
Yeah, I really believe it. What happened last week is going to dictate a better Bills team this week. If it doesn't, I'd be shocked.